In the 9th chapter of Two Blue Vortex, the hiding place of Koji and Boruto is very similar to Orochimaru's hideout that was shown in Naruto Gaiden. This kinda confirms my theory about the reunion of the SANINS that was indeed in the verse of Ishhiki Otsutsuki, predestined by genes. This small detail has finally answered a lot of questions, including the 2-year missing period after the tragedy of Sasuke. We are getting closer to knowing the secrets of the Byakugo seal, which was teased by Mitsuki in an older chapter, followed by the connection that it shares with the Kama, all thanks to the return of Orochimaru, the only person who can rival Amado in science, to help the protagonist. The accessories that Boruto is wearing, like the Uzumaki locket and the Konoha pin, are most likely given to him by Orochimaru, who must have acquired them from some Uzumaki hideout. I think the return of this character was necessary for various reasons. We know Amado would be naturally inclined to Kawaki since he holds the data of RKB in the Kama. Assuming his tale has some truth, he won't let all his patience and planning go waste by going against the person who can fulfill his ultimate goal. So to balance the thematic weight, Kishimoto decided to let Orochimaru have the back of Boruto. The first reason is simply the fateful destiny, as Boruto is now being trained by the former masters of Naruto as well as Sasuke. This explains his overpoweredness in a different angle, as there are not 2 but 3 people who have helped him in gaining this prowess. We can also count Naruto, since without him, he wouldn't have inherited the will of fire, which led to all of this. The second reason is the connection that Orochimaru shares with Kashin Koji. We know the cyborg has been cloned from the DNA of Jiraiya, and he can easily bypass the sensory division of Konoha since his data was already registered there. So it's not a surprise for Orochimaru to identify him, alongside being curious of his origins. The fact that Koji is seen all upright in the time skip also indicates Orochimaru contributing to his speedy recovery. He must have been suspicious about Amado after realizing how advanced tech was used in cloning his former teammate. And if Koji decides to snitch on the scientist, it's very likely that he has revealed some vital information to Orochimaru. On the basis of this intel, they might have taken Rogue Boruto under their wing as the last hope of humanity. Something that I think makes a lot of sense is the resolve of Kashin Koji being incomplete till the defeat of Shinju's and Kawaki. We know he was created to kill Ishiki, and the Otsutsuki is no longer present now. However, the DNA of Ishiki is still being used in not only amplifying Kawaki, but also the Shinju awakening. So in a way, his goals won't be fulfilled unless each and every user of Ishiki's power or essence is officially dead. Think of it as an instinctive nature that Amado was unaware of while creating Koji. The complexity of destiny mixed with the ambitious desires of the scientist is what motivated Koji to help Boruto. The parallels that he shares with Jiraiya are also reflecting in his life as a cyborg. The companionship of Orochimaru also provides an interesting aspect on the legacy of the legendary shinobis. They have reunited when the world needed them the most, and their reunion arc shows us the better version of the former antagonist, as he is now supporting the main character for the greater good. From the beginning of Naruto, the techniques of Orochimaru have remained remarkable, and once the Otsutsuki plot was introduced, the inspiration behind his various jutsus was also unveiled, like the curse mark sharing a lot of similarities to the Kama seal, and even the Byakugo seal comes under the same category. It seems like this fateful alliance will unveil a lot to us about the true origin of Orochimaru's jutsus. It definitely has some Otsutsuki link, just like how the ninjutsus are a watered down version of the Shinjutsus. It will be interesting to see if the jutsus of Orochimaru were actually derived from the Otsutsuki clan or some common ancestor that they share with the human race. Talking about jutsus and special techniques, what if Boruto has learned Uzuhiko under the wing of Orochimaru? Since he knows about the secret hideouts of the Uzumakis, it could be that he gathered some sacred scrolls which included the instructions to this ability. It kinda makes sense because there is no way for Boruto to name this power himself. Even Kashin Koji could have helped him in learning to master this technique, and this proves that how much Boruto has excelled himself by training under the legendary SANINS. Another big possibility that could be the key to Orochimaru helping out Koji and Boruto has something to do with omnipotence. It could be that he has countered the divine spell in a way that even surpassed Amado. The anime shows us Orochimaru having access to the memories of Mitsuki, which means a quick glance into his data would reveal the truth to him. He's apparently the only one who can cross-check the past events, which is why his resistance to reality shifting is highly possible. One more thing to note is that Mitsuki never went home during the time skip period, which could have been his point of fixing the feud with Boruto early on in the story. But this was obviously not going to happen since the current storyline is being built upon Boruto reconciling the broken bonds on his own. Even Aida said the only way for overcoming omnipotence is to create new perception in the minds of people. So Mitsuki being informed about Boruto's innocence could have put a bad impact on his character development. Before we get to the next Orochimaru theory, theory, there is a slight possibility for the SANINS to have no role in the story. And this hideout that was shown in the latest chapter could be an abandoned hiding place where Sasuke and Boruto used to reside. While it will be more interesting for Orochimaru to make a comeback, but I think Sasuke must be aware of such abandoned places. This puts a question mark to the meetup of Boruto and Kashin Koji, since the cyborg was in a really bad shape after the Ishhiki fight. Orochimaru assisting him in recovery makes more sense, especially because of the Otsutsuki plot, which is about to flourish in the story very soon. I'm pretty optimistic about the return of this character, but it's always better to manage expectations by taking all the plausible possibilities into account. When it comes to how big of a role Orochimaru could play in the future, we shouldn't forget he has been with Boruto for over 2 years, which means he had ample amount of time to study the Karma seal. There must be some common roots of the Byakugo seal, curse mark and the Karma, as I said earlier, which means Orochimaru must have gotten a better understanding of his jutsus. The Shinjutsu lore must have helped him in seeking the secrets of the universe, which is how he was able to come up with overpowered abilities like the Uzuhiko. Now, as we have seen from the recent chapter, Boruto was too afraid of the Karma seal, but at the same time, Orochimaru must have studied the power during the 2-year period. So what if he somehow formulated a way for Boruto through which he was able to use his Otsutsuki powers in base form? But since he couldn't figure out a way to stop the monster that even Amado couldn't find a way to deal with, chances are Boruto was warned about Momoshiki, especially because if he succeeds in taking him over, he will be able to use his whole body along with all the new and broken powers that he has learned. That's why Boruto was so frightful of the Karma. He must be knowing that Momoshiki's return will be a game over. The monster has been suppressed for more than 3 years, and he must have adapted a completely different personality than before. He could be a heartless monster desiring destruction and vengeance on everyone around him. So what if Kawaki takes the advantage of the Karma resonance to defame Boruto in the shinobi world? Maybe the destruction from the prologue is an outcome of Boroshiki's outrage on Konoha. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as I will bring a full video on this topic very soon. Now, something that I think might unexpectedly happen after the debut of Orochimaru could be the biggest plot twist of the show. As I said earlier, Amado and Orochimaru are rivals in science, with Boruto and Kawaki being their main chosen ones. But what if they both form a formidable alliance? They are the smartest characters with the most skills and otherworldly knowledge in the story. Orochimaru has been obsessed with immortality and gaining power from the beginning, and Amado seems to have a way that will not only make Orochimaru the strongest, but would also grant him an immortal prowess. I'm talking about the path of seeking godhood, which involves becoming an Otsutsuki and then devouring planets after planets till you become an Otsutsuki god. If Amado tells Orochimaru that he can be the most powerful deity of the universe, it can increase his chances of switching up by a slight margin. This means destiny will again get overdriven by genetics, with Orochimaru turning evil again under the influence of Amado, the two geniuses of science coming together to betray the shinobi world in the most massive way. It will be cool to see Orochimaru becoming a villain again, just to gain the ultimate attainable form in the universe. It also aligns with his initial goals, but does it align with the ongoing plot of the story? Can they make an older villain more agonizing with an unexpected twist in the sequel story? Let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see an evil Orochimaru who's after the stature of godhood. The alliance of the legendary SANINS also indicate Boruto has learned to master the nature energy, which I believe is how he learned to master the Uzuhiko. We know this technique utilizes the rotation of the planet's chakra to attack its opponent, and since Boruto has been training with people who know the sage techniques, it's very likely that they taught him the perfect control of natural energy to a level where he can influence the rotation of the planet just to deal with his opponents. I even think the Uzuhiko power is like a perfected sage mode ability, which doesn't require the alteration of a person's face. And since he is mixing his Otsutsuki chakra with this ability, which is literally stolen from other planets, since these beings evolve by consuming the divine fruits, it's very likely that the Uzuhiko is associated with the sage arts or the nature energy in action. Studying the Karma for years must have given him so much intel that he can create an army of clones just to fight the Shinjus. He will only need to crack the Karma code, and he will become the most unstoppable scientist of the shinobi world. As for Kashin Koji, it could be that he will die similar to Jiraiya from the chakra rods of Kawaki sometime in the future. I will soon bring a full video on why I think so, and how Orochimaru might also bring an army of clones to participate in the upcoming war. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stuff, and check out these videos as well. I will see you next time.